Welcome to Story and Art. How are you? Oh my gosh, I'm close. What's going on? Let's just move me back just a touch. There we go. There we go. Oh well, I'm here. How are you? Good evening, everyone. It's so good to have you here. And why is there? There it is. Um, it's a gorgeous sunny day today here in the Northwest. It's finally not too hot. Let me get my chair scooted up. And my lights are sparkling like crazy. Hang on. Woohoo, you guys are going to have a no seizures allowed there. Let's lower it down. There we go. I had them sparkling. What a day. It's good to be here. It is good to have you here for Story and Art and on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah, we got a couple more panels up on the ceiling. That was kind of hilarious, but we did. They were pre-cut, so we didn't have to cut more. Next is some cutting. Cut a couple more pieces of trim, so I put up 4 more pieces of trim. And what else? Figured out and got the shelves cut for the bookshelf, or the art shelf of storage that I've got to build. Yeah, all that. And Bob is needling me about getting ready for the Gig Harbor Art Fair this weekend. I have to be ready to load in on Friday. No, not right. Not quite yet. Not quite. I'll get there. It will be. But, yeah. Anyway, let's see who's here. First, let me turn. I forgot to turn something on. Guys, give me a minute. There we go. Oh, there we go. Couldn't figure it. There we go. I'm more balanced. Let's see. Linda's here. Yay. Although he was sitting down here on the floor looking at me like I was terrible because I put my headphones on and I wasn't going to get up and go get him a treat. Oh my gosh. Susan's here. Linda's saying hi to people. Tamara is here. And 1 minute till bucket filling. Oh, you guys got on early. Hang on. Back up. Something didn't back up all the way. What's going on? Hang on. There we go. The book I'm reading, it was jumping forward because I moved things around. Let's see. And so, yep, bucket filling time. Oh my gosh. Tamara, thank you for being here. I am so sorry that you're having a rough time and that Adrian is too. It's just, yeah, if, I know all of us, if we could, we would be there on your doorstep to help out in any way we could. But if nothing else, we can at least fill your bucket a bit and give you a little bit of respite virtually. I hope so. Anyway, Tamara's here. Susan is here. Hi, Susan. And Lupe's here, watching on a big screen, lurking as usual. I was lurking in your live selling thing, watching that a little bit. Came in after we had. Sorry, I have my finger. I got a sliver in it earlier, and then I dug it out, and it's one of those that's like right on the bend of your finger. And then I didn't put Neosporin on it right away, and so now it's getting angry at me because, of course, I just dug it out with a pin, or yeah. Oh well. And Angie's here. Larry's driving and listening. Yay, Angie and Larry, welcome you guys. I was thinking about you. I'm going to be Larry and Angie on this coming weekend at the Gig Harbor Art Fair. I'm in booth 44. So if you want to, and it's at Semmel Park this year, not in downtown Gig Harbor. So you can apparently park in a few different places and they run shuttles. I'm not sure where they're running them from. Not clear, but it's still, you can also probably park at Semmel. It's going to be, I'm sure it'll be busy, but yeah, I load in on Friday night and then Saturday and Sunday all day until like 6 o'clock on Sunday night. Yeah, that's that thing. But that's where I'll be on the weekend. So next Sunday, I'll know on Thursday what I'm going to do for Sunday night's story. Okay. I have a whole bunch of books, so I could probably read one as a premiere, but then I wouldn't be there. I don't know. I'll probably be packing up. Have to see what we can do. Anyway, you guys, glad to have you here. Let's see who else is. Miss Kitty. Oh, you guys are so funny. It's 10 days past the holiday and fools are setting off fireworks. My poor dog. Oh, no. Yeah, well, last night we had a big kind of boom explosion, but um, yeah, I can never tell whether it's some people out here on the Keys doing target practice, but this was bigger. This was a boom, so it might have come from the firing from the Fort Lewis Joint Base Lewis McChord JBLM. Yep. I'm here next Sunday doing art fair myself. Yucky. Yeah. This is kind of I think there's 133 booths. It's a fairly good size one, and so I'm just glad I'm not unlike the one 2 weeks later after that our art walk on Friday the August 2nd here in Key Center, which we have all of maybe 40 booths, and it goes for 4 hours only. And it's nice. It's great. Anyway, you guys, so we're starting out tonight with some show and tell. Let me see if I got it cleared out. I didn't get that one cleared out. And back up here, yes. So we got a couple people sent something in. I'm going to just double check mail because I didn't get anything else. I got from Tamara, and that was it. Yep. Oh my gosh. I just checked my email again, and it's like this horrid dredge of things of people that are worried about what's going on with our for Art Walk, and oh, yikes. Oh well, that's what happens when you're on the committee. Yeah, so we've got comments. I'm just checking. We have a busy weekend coming, a wedding and stuff. Not sure if understandable. Well then, it's kind of crazy anyway. So it's more fun if you come to the Art Walk, which is on August 2nd, and it's out here at Key Center, and it's like really low key, and we'll have there's a wine bar and a brew pub kind of area, and then there'll be 3 or 4 different music venues that'll be like local musicians setting up and all kinds of fun stuff. But for now, I'm going to cruise this up to show and tell. And we are starting with Tamra, and let me get here and show you what she's got. So first off, she has this. This is from Scraps to Collage. I'm going to move myself over here. Oops, come on. Hey, why are you locked? There we go. Move over there. Another piece that she's done. Does it have a name? Nope, just says from Scraps to Collage. I like this one. It looks like to me a lot like, oh, here I'm trying to get, let me see if I can put this over where I want it to be. Yes. It looks to me like, almost like she's leaning up against a tree, but that tree also has a body and a face, and she's kind of protected. It's a beautiful figure. Really pretty. A tree that Scraps to Collage. My goodness, that is so pretty. What do you guys? Only the best. There's no other art town I'd come by for years. Yes. Oh, that's right. She told me that this is a work in progress, not finished yet. I'm sorry that I missed out on that, but your works in progress are like so gorgeous that I kind of almost always forget that they're just that they're in progress. They're so beautiful as they are. So, yeah, that's that. Okay, I just changed the color there. Did some, hey, there. Um, so that's really, really pretty. I don't know what else you would add to it. See, this is where Tamara, the artist that can foresee, I'm just the artist that slaps things down and just says, oh, maybe that'll work. Really good job, Tamara. And then she has these birds that I love. They're called the pukeko, a swamp hen. And they're so cool looking. I love the head on them and that little orange bit that goes down on either side of their beak. Really cool. Nice. Excellent. And then she has another one of a swamp hen. And that's this one. Oops, I did the wrong one. Did this one, and now I need to do this one. I'm going the wrong direction on my scenes. This is the one in the bird bath. It's so great. Good job, Tamara. We're very serene. The face needs. Oh, the face needs work. Yeah. Oh, the background face. She says. She says the face needs work. Okay, I'm going to pull that one up. So the face, in the brown area needs work, is what you think? Linda says when mine are done, they need work. You're fussy. Tamara says she's fussy. They are big birds. How big of birds are these guys? I mean, really, how big are these guys? They also have big feet. Well, so do I. But really, love your work. So good. Love the collage too. Oh, and tonight's book has lots of collage in it, so you're going to really enjoy that. So next we have, oh, I know her. Me. I'm going to start with this. This was sunset from my deck the other night. And I just wanted to share. It was just, I took it off my phone. I really took it on my phone. There's a crescent moon. The color was just one of those incredible kind of colors. And it was such a calm night. It was like so still. And I just, oh gosh. It was just a gorgeous sunset. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that with you on that. And then from there, this is a piece I did. And I think I did a video on this one. Is this the one I did yeah, this is, it looks painted. Oh, thanks. This is the one I got the inspiration. Diane Anton had done a wildflower kind of thing. So I kind of looked up a wildflower images and then kind of got an idea of what the flowers looked like. And then I filmed myself painting this and then shortened it, sped up the parts and actually posted it as like a 9-minute video from beginning to end. And it's called Lay It On because I just tried different layers. It's the first time I really tried layering. So I did a really light layer, the drawing and then the layering, and I used my aquarelle pencil, which I love because it melts away, the pencil lines melt away and you don't see them, which I don't understand why more people don't do that. I mean, it adds a little bit of shading, but not hardly. And then I used, on the first layer was some Daniel Smith paint, and the drawing was done with the Staedtler aquarelle pencil. and then I let it dry, and then the next layer I used the Derwent Inktense pencils to color in and shade, and then I came in with like one of these guys. Oh, you can't see it. They're like an iridescent watercolor that's different colors, and I added some highlights and shinies. That was kind of probably shouldn't done, but yeah, it was fun. Anyway, and that's what I did there. And then last night we were out for a walk. My neighbor's daisies. Linda, I have been able to find the Derwent Inktense on sale occasionally, and the cool thing about them is even when you if you sharpen them and you save the sharpenings, not the wood part but the other part, that's just pure pigment or dye, and you can use it as watercolor. You can actually use it and keep it, and so they last a really, really, really long time. So anyway, my neighbor, we walked up to the mailbox last night when it was nice and had cooled down. It was about 8:30, close to 9 o'clock, and the sun was hitting my neighbor's daisies, and they were so beautiful and so inspiring. And then I came home and decided I wanted to paint, and between the combination of the sunset and the daisies and the flowers and everything like that, I just kind of made this up in my head. Thanks, Tamara. So this was, I'm probably a little heavy-handed with watercolor, but this is what I came up with. So that was what I was paying with. Oh, thanks. Yeah, and that has some of this iridescent stuff in it too. I'll show you that in a second what it is. Yeah. So I had needed to get back onto painting some things because it just made me feel a little better and not quite so take a break from all the other stuff in the studio. But that's what I did. So thanks, you guys. All right, now. So here is these guys. I took down my overhead camera for tonight. So these are these shiny kind of things that I use. Do they show? There they go. For that shiny stuff that I was using. Should be in a storybook. Thank you. Thank you. I listened to a thing about writing children's books today. It was really interesting. The woman she was doing a free webinar to try to sell her program, but I listened to it, and she was doing it with Jack Canfield, who is the author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. And she had 3 self-published books and then 2 that she'd done that were standard publishing, and done with Jack Canfield. The difference on the ones that are by standard publishers, she makes 80 cents a book. Because once you go through a standard publisher, they own the book and you negotiate that, and then yeah. So she's like, I make a lot more on the books that I self-publish. And then when she goes to schools, because she has a lot of her books, she goes and does school talks. If she wants to use one of the books and read one of the books that she wrote but is being published by a standard publisher, she has to get permission. Like, hell no. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Standard publishers are always rough on authors and illustrators. It's a tough market. What am I doing? Why is my chair in the wrong spot? There we go. Okay. So, thank you. Bravo, ladies, bravo. Are those Kuretake? Linda, I don't think these are Kuretake. I have Kuretake. Otherwise, these are a set of 3 that I got somewhere I bought them like on Instagram or something, and they don't have any labeling. Kuretake usually puts a labeling on it. I have the whole Kuretake set, the standard set, but I don't know. I wish I knew what they were. Maybe I could probably go back and find where I bought them on Amazon eons ago. But yeah, I love sparkly paints. Yes, I do too. And I have some that I got off of Etsy that are made with honey, and I have just like 3 or 4 colors, and they're just. Oh no, no apologies necessary, Linda. I should know what I did, but I'm one of those who kind of just gets something and then forgets where I got it and what I did, and I'm not that great about doing the labels on them, and so yeah, sorry. Anyway, next up for tonight, I have one story for us tonight, and it's a little bit longer. And I called tonight a parallel path, because it's really interesting because it's the story of someone whose life had a complete parallel. I mean, a very parallel path to her very famous, very impactful husband, but her own life has taken a path of greatness too, in just a parallel way. And the story tonight is about Corett Scott King, the wife and widow of Dr. Martin Luther King. And it is an autobiography. So she wrote it herself along with an amazing author, journalist that with it. And I have things to tell you about this person too. So let me get this back where it's supposed to be. Hang on. That's supposed to be locked. Let me move this whole thing back over here. And I'm going to go here. So, screen share first. Okay, here we go. This is the co-author of the book that Corett Scott King wrote. And the co-author, oh, that's a tiny one. Let me get myself back up where I'm supposed to be for this. Here we go. Is Dr. BarbaraReynolds. And just a little bit about her: author, speaker, and history maker. The Reverend Dr. Barbara A. Reynolds is an award-winning journalist, activist, and educator. She has more than 50 years of experience as a journalist, writer, with some of the major media institutions in America, such as Ebony Magazine, Essence Magazine, the Chicago Tribune, and Playboy Magazine. In addition, she was a founding startup editor with USA Today, where she was an editorial board member and columnist for more than 13 years. She has served as religion columnist for the National Newspaper Publishers Association, which reports a readership of 10 million. She was also an activist in the King movement, helping to register blacks to vote in 1965. So the Dr. BarbaraReynolds. Let's see if it has a picture of her on the homepage of her. Can I go back to here? That's some of her new books. Media. See if there's any media that shows different things that she's done with different people, with President Carter, with Samuel L. Jackson, with Angela Bassett, Barbara Bush at the White House, Bishop Vashti McKenzie, Chris Rock, Bishop Owens, Harry Belafonte. I mean, she's just all over, and quite an amazing woman. Now, the illustrator is Ekua Holmes. And Ekua Holmes, oh my gosh. Somebody said, the director, Museum of National Center for Afro-American Artists, said Ekua Holmes frequently draws her subject from her experiences growing up in Roxbury, Massachusetts. She has perfected collage as a medium through which she excellently exploits rich colors, superior compositions, and surprising textural relationships. So her work in collage is based on her subjects and made from cut and torn papers. She investigates family histories, relationship dynamics, and childhood impressions, and the power of hope, faith, and self-determination. Um, she said she's looked out her window for subjects of her collages too. She says has looked out her window for the subjects of her collages too. Remembering a Roxbury childhood of wonder and delight, she considers herself a part of a long line of Roxbury image makers. In this spirit, she supports those who have a calling in the arts as well as keeping her own studio practice ignited. She has created and led workshops, been a visiting artist and lecturer, and held artist residence in public and private institutions throughout New England. Her first public art initiative, she received a Now There Public Art Accelerator Fellowship and launched the Roxbury Sunflower Project, in which she facilitated the planting of 10,000 sunflower seeds in her native Roxbury. For her work in illustrating children's literature, she's received a Caldecott Honor, a Corett Scott King, John Steptoe New Talent Illustrator Award, a Robert Siebert and Horn Awards, a Fannie Lou Harmer and Spirit of Civil Rights Movement by Carol Boston Awards for her first illustration project. In 2018, she won the coveted Corett Scott King Award for illustration for the book Out of Wonder, Poems Celebrating Poets. And in 2019, she won the Corett Scott King Award again for her illustration of Stuff of Stars, written by Marion Dane Bauer. She serves as commissioner and vice chair of the Boston Art Commission, which oversees the placement and maintenance of public works of art on the City of Boston properties. She's also currently associate director at the Center for Art and Museum Partnerships at Mass Art, where she manages and coordinates Spark, the Artmobile, and an art-inspiring art transformation vehicle retrofitted to contribute to community-based multidisciplinary arts programs currently focused on Mission Hill. She has received her BFA in photography from Mass Art in 1977. Yes! So this is the woman who has done the collages of the book that we are about to hear, and I'm about to read for you. Let me get this up out of your way. Yes. This is called Coretta, the autobiography of Mrs. Corett Scott King. Come on. I got to move something off of here. Yay. There we go. There we go. Come on. I'm reading it off my Kindle, through the Kindle Cloud Reader rather than through Libby tonight. So sometimes it moves forward in a little different way. Oops. That wasn't that. Hang on. All right. I gotta go back. Give me half a second here, you guys. The book didn't want to open and popped out. Okay, we'll go back to me and I will get it back open to the Kindle Cloud Reader if I can. If not, we'll do it in Libby. There we go. Come on. There we go. There, I think I got it. Yay, I got it back to it. All right, here I am. Coretta, the autobiography of Corett Scott King. I was born on April 27th in 1927 in Heiberger, Alabama, at a time and in a place where everything I would eventually become was impossible to even imagine. Who could have dreamed that a little girl who at age 10 hired herself out with her sister to pick cotton for $2 a week in the piercing hot sun would rise to a position that allowed her to help pick U.S. mayors, congresspersons, or even presidents, then I would be able to help build a human rights movement while also raising 4 beautiful children. Most of my childhood was happy. Church was the center of my social life. My parents provided a nurturing environment, and I had siblings I adored. Edith was a bookworm. Obie was the fixer who could repair anything. I was the doer, a workaholic always looking for a project. As children, we didn't have money for store-bought games or toys, so we fashioned our own. One of our favorite pastimes was swinging. There were other things we wanted to do, but we had to accept that we just could not do them often. There were no recreation facilities for black children. A day came when I had to ask my mother the same questions every black child asks sooner or later. Why am I treated differently? Why do whites hate us so? My mother answered in much the same way black mothers have answered for generations. You are just as good as anyone else, she said. You got an education, then you won't have to be kicked around. Come on. There. Mother figured out a way to send me to Lincoln Normal School, a semi-private high school where the faculty was mixed, half white, half black, and most were from the North. In the summer of 1943, my older sister Edith became, for a time, the only black student at Antioch College. I too applied and was accepted in 1945. And so it was that one of my mother's lifetime-long dreams for me, as well as my own, was coming true. I was going to college. At Antioch, I expanded the worldview I had begun to develop at Lincoln. Nurtured by this diverse, pro-peace environment, I began to dream of a world in which all kinds of people would be welcome and could live in peace and harmony. This is not to say that there were not some bumps and bruises along the way, but the hard knocks prepare one for leadership as much as soft landings. Racism challenged me in my degree path. I was the first black person to major in elementary education at Antioch with a minor in voice. Because there were no black teachers in the Yellow Springs, Ohio public school system, I was deprived of my right to teach there. I appealed to the local school board. I tried to rally the students to my cause. And I appealed to Antioch College's administration. This was the first time I stood up publicly against discrimination, and the experience only deepened my resolve to continue the struggle blacks had always fought, which was for inclusion and respect. After Antioch, I received an early acceptance to the New England Conservatory and decided to go there. I was settled into what I thought would be my life's work, thriving and happy when one afternoon in my second semester at the conservatory, I got a call from my classmate Mary Powell. "Coretta," she said, "have you heard of Martin Luther King, Jr.?" Soon after I spoke with Mary, Martin called and introduced himself. As we talked about our different schools over lunch, I felt his stare. I found him easy to talk to, and we chatted about everything from questions of war and peace to racial and economic justice. As he was driving me home, we stopped at a light, and he turned to me. "You have everything I have ever wanted in a wife. When can I see you again?" As our courtship continued, we talked at length about values and morals, philosophy, and it was clear on all the important things that Martin and I basically agreed. The other issues we felt could be worked out. I still resisted a relationship, harboring nagging concerns about what would happen to my own sense of mission if I married. But I realized I had begun to fall in love with him. 1 year and 4 months after we met, on June 18th, 1953, Daddy King married Martin and me on the lawn of my parents' home in Marion, the one they had built to replace the house that was burned to the ground by white racists when I was 15 years old. I had made up my mind that I wanted the traditional language about obeying and submitting to my husband deleted from our marriage vows. Neither Daddy King nor Martin objected. 60 days after the Montgomery bus boycott began, on the evening of January 30th, 1956, in the little house where we lived in Montgomery, Alabama, I was in a happy mood. My infant daughter Yolanda, we called her Yoki, was asleep in her crib in the back room. Suddenly coming in from the front porch, I heard a sound, a heavy thump, and a rolling noise. Before we could get halfway through the next room, a bomb exploded on the porch. The noise frightened my baby, who awoke crying. I ran and gathered her in my arms. I gasped, calling, "Oh, my Lord," as I saw the damage the bomb had unleashed. Since the Montgomery bus boycott had begun 2 months before, we had experienced a barrage of harassing phone calls. Martin had an understanding of the Christian Gandhian principles of nonviolence. We must love our white brothers no matter what they do to us, he said. It took a lot for me to stand my ground as well. Come on. There we go. On November 13th, 1956, the Supreme Court declared Alabama's state and local laws requiring segregation on buses unconstitutional. This was a landmark verdict. After 380 once again ride city buses, and for the first time since almost anyone could remember, we could sit where we wanted to and ride with dignity. It's hard to describe the emotions, exhilaration, pride, and hope that washed over us all as we boarded that bus. Violence and oppression take many forms, and the form that it took its toll on me was Martin's repeated, unwarranted arrests. I felt so alone and vulnerable. Moreover, it was left to me to help our small children counter the teasing from the other children who said their daddy was a jailbird. I felt it was important for them to see his jail going as a badge of honor. While the sit-ins and protests were taking new forms, my life also was taking a new shape. More and more I served as a public speaker when Martin asked me to stand in for him. I also performed, giving concerts to raise money for the movement, and I continued my role as a spokeswoman for the peace movement that I had begun. The March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom was set for August 28, 1963. Although no woman was allowed a prominent speaking role, Mahalia Jackson sang. Then the moment so many had come so far to experience arrived. From one side of the Lincoln Memorial to another, people began chanting Martin's name. As he spoke, it seemed to me like heaven itself had opened up and poured out visions of hope. I sat, awed by the magnificence of the occasion. Years later, in March 1968, Martin agreed to lead a protest march for a sanitation workers' strike in Memphis. Violence had broken out. Martin felt he had no choice but to return to Memphis and lead another march to prove the efficacy of nonviolence. When he left Atlanta on April 3rd, I followed Martin to the door, kissed him goodbye, and wished him well. The children were still asleep and didn't see him leave. It was an ordinary farewell, like thousands of others. The next evening, on April 14th, Jesse Jackson called. Doc has been shot. I kissed the children goodbye and headed to the airport. As soon as we got there, I heard a page over the public address system. It was for me. I knew Martin was dead. Calls were pouring in, offering help and condolences, but nothing anyone could have said or done would have eased the sorrow welling in my heart. I made a statement saying that nothing could hurt Martin more than for those he left behind to solve their problems with violence. I would finish what Martin and the movement started. I decided to continue with the march in Memphis. There I spoke without notes from the heart. I challenged the crowds to see that Martin's spirit never dies and that we will go forward from this experience. Back in Atlanta, the funeral service was so beautiful. When we came out of the church and into the sunlight, we saw tens of thousands of people standing in the streets. Together we began our march from Ebenezer Baptist Church to Morehouse College for the memorial service. We marched because Martin had spent so much of his life marching for justice and freedom. In the months immediately following Martin's death, thousands of requests poured in from all over the world. This rush of international invitations was a humbling reminder that our mission was respected on a global stage. I had to reflect seriously on what course I would take as an activist working to shape public policy. Through 12 and a half short years of ministry, Martin changed the world we lived in. I wanted to ensure that his legacy to humanity lived on. So on June 26, 1968, I founded the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Center and later renamed it the Martin Luther King Jr. Center for Nonviolent Social Change, or the King Center. The center would advocate not just for civil rights, but for human rights. I had always seen the work we were doing in the movements as part of a global human rights struggle. In 1977, when President Jimmy Carter appointed me a public delegate to the United Nations, it allowed me to expand the message of nonviolence and human rights. I spoke out about the value of treating every life with human dignity and respect. Later, I made a strong stand for gay rights. I championed ending apartheid in South Africa. In 1992, the King Center became directly involved in South Africa in advance of that nation's first truly democratic national elections. The U.S. State Department gave the center a grant to create a curriculum and to train South African activists in the principle of Martin's nonviolence philosophy. Our staff working along South African activists were armed with little more than their Bibles and their faith that a peaceful transition was not only necessary but achievable. We helped train more than 300,000 people. In 1994, Nelson Mandela made the transition from 27 years of imprisonment to his role as leader of his nation, all without massive bloodshed. I can be a very determined woman. Perhaps nowhere has this been more obvious than in my efforts to establish Martin's birthday as a national holiday. In 1983, after 15 years of lobbying, 9 million petition signatures, hundreds of thousands of marching feet, Telegrams from around the world and outreach from President Jimmy Carter and Pope John Paul II, the Martin Luther King Jr. birthday holiday was finally a federal law. I have lived a life beyond anything I ever imagined or thought possible for a child born in nowhere, USA, into a race that was virtually disqualified from humanity and a gender condemned to silence. I have known great triumphs, and along my journey, I have found answers to the questions I often pondered when I was a little girl in Alabama. Who will I be? What is my purpose? I want people to know that I was committed to leaving an eternal flame built on love that would never be extinguished. Love is not a program, not a political party, not a race. It is a promise with a power all of its own. The contributions of Martin and me and of those behind and before us are the greatest witnesses I can imagine to the power of love in action. The dream is a work that is very much in progress. I am counting on the next generation. And there it has a timeline of the civil rights. That, I love that final collage. Oh my gosh. Oops. Camera source. Try. There we go. Why am I crooked? Oh my goodness. What happened there? Let's go back to a different one. I'll go jump back to here. That was funny. Yeah. Get rid of that. So, you guys, what'd you think of that? That is quite the book. What an amazing writer. I mean, an author. And to do it with Dr. Reynolds. But this line that she has, that she says, I have lived a life beyond anything I ever imagined or thought possible for a child born into a race that was virtually disqualified from humanity and a gender condemned to silence. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. Very powerful. Thank you, Tamara. That was very nice to say. I think her story is just so powerful, and the way it was written and the artwork in it, the combination and the collages of how it's put together. Yeah, in our lifetime, in our lifetime, man. Her first child was born in 1956. That was the year I was born. My goodness. My goodness. Let's see. Let's see. She died, Corett Scott King died January 30th in 2006 at the age of 78. But the legacy that she has, and she was in Mexico, where she was undergoing holistic therapy for her stroke and advanced stage ovarian cancer is where she died. She was in Mexico when she died, being treated for that. But the work that she did and the legacy that she continued through the King Center and establishing the Corett Scott King Award for illustrators and authors and whatnot of ethnic. It's just, I mean, it's so much impact in so many places. It's just amazing. Okay, I'm trying to get something to move for me. There we go. That's what I was trying to get to move. Yay. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed that story because I sure did. It was one I was very pleased to find when it came. I saw it pop up on my list and I went, "Oh, I have to read that one." She's just an amazingly powerful woman and somebody who, you know, it's I've been having a struggle with some things tech and to get things done. And so for me, it's really helpful to read stories about powerful women like that and about the collaboration that they do to get the book done and that and their life and what they did. It makes it so that it gives me a little push about getting my own things straightened out and done and taken care of. And just being really, really grateful too for what to have had this in my lifetime to these people. So, yeah, what is. I'm going back in the chat here. Pull it over. Dr. King. Such a great life and light. Yes, exactly. Such a great life and light. Why did I lose my comments? I pulled them over. I know what I did. There they are. Where'd they go? There they are. I need them over here. I keep moving things. In your lifetime, yes. Powerful. I think it's, pretty much all of us went through this. I remember distinctly. As a child, I remember some pretty distinct things. One of them, I remember exactly where I was on the playground when I heard that John F. Kennedy was shot. I was like third grade, second or third grade. And then I remember hearing in 68, I would have been in junior high or just starting. And I remember that too. It's interesting to hear this from her perspective. I remember some of that history. If the only thing harder than being a woman is being a Black woman. So true. Absolutely beautiful book. We boomers have seen much change, some for the better. Yes, we have. Women are made of strength and perseverance. Exactly. We are the goddesses. Yes, ovarian cancer got Gilda Radner, got my very good friend Kim Ann many years ago. She is, and he was powerful. I mean, that's that parallel path. That's why I named it a parallel path, because how they connected and that he turned to her on their first date and said, "You're everything I've been looking for in a wife." And be like, "Hello." Agreed. She is. Yes, agreed. All right, you guys, that is it for Story and Art tonight. I'll be back on Thursday with a fair number of stories. I went to the library, got a bunch, had some fun. I'm keeping myself fairly sane by doing some painting and putting some stuff out there. Got a busy week of getting ready for this art fair. The studio, like I said, we put up 2 more panels. We've got a long panel to put up, and I've got the bookshelf to build that's going to store the art things, and then have the Gig Harbor Art Fair next weekend, and then Bob will go to Phoenix. And I do know that I won't on there is a day, if you want to mark calendars, I'll if I can get one recorded, I'll put it out there. But on the 28th of July, I am going to be in Yakima for my 50th high school reunion. So I doubt if I'll get a show in that night. I will probably be driving back unless Katie talks me into staying at her house for an extra night, which is a distinct possibility with my, yeah, with Katie, a good high school friend that she wants me to stay at her house and help her out. Anyway, yes, everybody. So overplaying a much needed bucket filled in an unexpected and much appreciated way. Yay! That, and with that, we're signing out because buckets should be filled, and that's what we need to do. Thank you guys for being here so much. I appreciate it so much. And until next time, everybody, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around, you know. But the first place you're going to find it is when you go look in your mirror. And I'll see you Thursday.
In the heat of the night, we could get lost in all the lights and sounds. Feeling alright, we won't go home, we will just stay here downtown. There's not just stars on the boulevard, they're in the light in your eyes. Oh, we don't need no black cards, I just need you by my side. We could be shameless.